This is BBC One. And now it's time for John Craven's Newsround.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Hello.
This is Newsround.
We'll be taking you through all the day's top stories.
It means today will go down in history.
Here's what's going on in the world today.
Well, Newsround started off as a little experiment, really.
We stood up. We didn't have a desk to shuffle papers on.
Welcome to a very special Newsround.
We dressed in a more relaxed style.
How can a man read the BBC News in a jumper?
A cartoon poster launched around the world has just been hit by a new eruption.
Quite easily.
We don't follow the rule book when it comes to news. We don't follow what the grown-ups are doing.
The government have announced big changes, meaning that most of you won't be going to school next week.
Newsround was the first news programme that gave children a voice.
As politicians keep saying, children are the future, but we're here now.
Never, ever, ever underestimate children.
It's kind of fallen on the kids to take care of this one. We are relentless. We do not let things go.
They get something from us which they don't get anywhere else.
It's important that people take children seriously.
I think everyone else has followed, and Newsround were trailblazers.
Just because we're a children's news programme doesn't mean that we don't talk about the real events that are happening in this world.
Because if you don't start explaining the world with truth and honesty to children at a very young age, when are they going to start?
Today we're going to hear about George Floyd and why his death has caused such a huge reaction around the world.
It's important that children hear about difficult, complex stories because they're going to hear about them anyway.
One of the most terrible events in American history. 3.5 hours ago, two of the United States' biggest cities were hit by massive terrorist explosions. 2 passenger planes.
And I dread to think of a world where you're that young and you're hearing stuff all around you, but you don't have a trusted place that you can go to.
And unfortunately, some of those stories affect children far more than they do adults.
Late last night, there was a terror attack at an Ariana Grande concert behind me at the Manchester Arena.
For us, it was important to talk to children who were involved because that was the best way of explaining the story.
Giving children a voice over what was a very important area of their lives.
I was disgusted. I don't want anything like this to happen again.
I just think if they're trying to scare us, then we should show them that we're not scared and we shouldn't let them.
I think it's hugely important that the children of Britain understand what's happening to other children, maybe like them or maybe totally unlike them in their circumstances, all over the world.
The way of life here is so very different from anything that we know. Everywhere, the contrasts are enormous.
And you don't see those kids talk really anywhere else.
I heard the stories of 3 young boys, all aged 14, who'd made the secret voyage from Vietnam.
Gulshar's family also have nothing left to sell. In desperation, her father has engaged her to be married.
In a split second, I saw rainbow-colored rays everywhere. That was the moment the bomb exploded.
I don't believe we are stripping away the innocence of children at all, but instead, we're walking with them and helping them to understand the world.
We are, as a world, going to be suffering from worldwide famine.
Fame has made the presence of the poor very much known.
Gun crime is a growing problem and one that more and more of you are growing up with.
I was shot by the Taliban for the reason of going to school and for my campaign.
Children are interested in the world, and it's our duty to bring them the news.
Voting in the Newsround election has already begun.
The UK has decided to vote to leave the European Union.
In the last few minutes, it's been confirmed that Donald Trump is going to be the next president of the USA.
This week, some major businesses have got into big trouble because of something called the credit crunch.
Every Prime Minister has talked to Newsround.
Do you feel that you've done enough for the younger generation?
How can you reassure people my age that there's going to be jobs when we leave school?
If you could pick one politician apart from yourself to win, who would it be and why?
Wow. It's really nonsense to say that children aren't interested in politics, and that's why Newsround has always covered it.
The House of Commons reenacted in a school hall to show pupils the time-honoured way in which Parliament works.
How can you claim to be concerned about the environment when you wish to keep nuclear weapons?
Some people have got to have their say, and if they don't, then the country's not going to get anywhere.
If he's not going to listen to his own rules, why even enforce them on the people?
I'm as much in the dark as you are.
We encouraged young children to care about the world around them.
And is there a danger, do you think, that the panda could well be extinct?
It's a possibility. You know, we were obsessed with the environment long before adult news.
Newsround Extra has come to India to report on the amazing success in the campaign to save the tiger.
Scientists studying the world's weather say that the Earth's climate is definitely changing.
Temperature in this part of the world has gone up 3 degrees centigrade in the last 50 years.
We've seen that young kids are at the forefront of anything to do with campaigns around saving our planet.
It makes us feel like that what we do actually matters.
But in Newsround, you know it's what really matters, and it's what really matters to you.
If you're talking about stuff in the playground, then we need to be talking about it on Newsround.
At playgrounds up and down the country, just about everybody's using yo-yos.
And Nigel, how do you like computers?
It's much better than being taught by a bossy teacher.
You thought your MP3 player was just for listening to music on? Well, think again.
Every few minutes, an electronic sound indicates something is wrong.
I'm so good at this game. I can do it with my eyes closed.
Here, it wants to be played with.
We also sprinkle a little bit of entertainment news in there as well.
And that's little Kim, who's presenting tonight's show, who's just arrived.
Going on red carpets, interviewing celebrities.
Leah's down in London for us at the ceremony. What can you tell us, Leah?
Well, the party is in full swing.
We recently went to meet Little Mix.
I love it!
And outside already are hundreds of fans.
T-Rex.
Thank you.
Everyone thinks that we're friends, but I know nothing about her.
The makers of the new Harry Potter film are looking for children to play the 3 main roles.
I was watching Newsround and they told me I had an audition.
The Spice Girls have come a long way since Newsround first filmed of them last June.
The eccentric, mad girls from England.
Pop mania has come back to Britain, and most of the screaming has been for the Bay City Rollers.
They just got talent.
How come you've got so much energy?
Because
we're at Club 7.
We always had a bit of a love on Newsround because we didn't want to send the children away just hearing bad news. I decided one April Fool's Day that we would play a prank on the audience.
The historic hatching of the zoo's first panda egg.
Everybody believed it.
We do our own thing.
This week's Weirdest News Stories. It's time for Strange, Stranger, Strangest.
The world's biggest haggis has been cooked up by a chef in Glasgow.
Centrepiece of the party was a giant fish finger.
It's really important that we offer something which is fun and interesting, a fluffy animal who's done something funny.
A cat who's running for mayor.
And finally...
And finally, check this out.
Newsround's importance is greater than ever.
We live in an age where there's just so much content out there, and that information isn't always right.
Children can pick up all kinds of wrong information on the internet, on mobile phones.
What the presenters on Newsround tell you, you can believe.
East Germany amazed the world by suddenly saying that its people could leave whenever they wanted.
You can't say that about anything you see on TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram.
Everyone deserves to have a place that they can go to and feel safe and hear trusted news.
The latest news on the Apollo 17 astronaut.
And the news broke.
There could be life on Mars. Newsround is one of those programmes that when you turn it on, you'll know you're going to get the news that really matters and the news that you need to know about.
To answer the questions that kids want to ask.
And people can see what the children think for a change.
You can trust Newsround.
Newsround, I think, will always matter.
Gives us some responsibility on the world.
Because guess what? News isn't just for grown-ups. News is for everybody.
It's because of children who watch it, it's because of you, and that's why we're still here.
And it is a huge satisfaction to me that it still plays this really important role in the life of our nation's children, that they listen to Newsround to get information they can trust,
And that's why we're here. That's why Newsround will always be here whenever you need us.